This week's best MMA bets, we're talking UFC Des Moines. I'm going to give you guys my lock of the week, my most confident picks on the card. We'll talk favorite underdogs, Degen Props of the night, and then I'm going to close it out with the parlays. So make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn the post notifications on, and make sure you share the video too. Last week was disappointing. Went Savage Dog, Giga Chikadze, and lost a competitive decision. I've had some gripes about the scorecard, but at the end of the day, yes, Giga was taken down and controlled at the end, and his get-up game was non-existent, which was absolutely infuriating to me. Now, on the positive side of things, still, most confident picks swept the card, hit a good amount of the parlays as well at the end, just not the Degen Savage parlays. And also, the only underdog on the card that came through, Abus Magomedov, also called him as a favorite underdog. So, looking at the overall picture, last week was still a great one. This week, I'm damn excited for, and I'm feeling real good about going Savage Dog lock again. So without further ado, the lock of the week.
Quang! Bang! Lee!
Quang Lee, Savage Dog lock. I'm picking him over the overrated kickboxer in Gaston Bolaños. I have been a Bolaños doubter for many years. Now, I think he has pretty good stand-up game. His kicks are pretty snappy. His overall striking flow is nice, but I don't think Quang Lee is at a substantial deficit in the stand-up department, at least not enough so to make me extremely hesitant to think that he can survive the striking to, at the worst, engage in grappling. Now, Quang Lee's hands are actually pretty good. He's got a nice left hook. He's got pretty solid low kicks. He's got good lateral movement. He's light on his feet with decent head movement. In his UFC debut, he stepped in against Chris Gutierrez, put up a pretty good fight. I'd say arguably a better fight than John Castaneda put up recently. And Castaneda obviously won that third round convincingly. He's also a training partner of Quang Lee. I feel like Lee could get this fight to the ground. Look at Bolaños' last fight. He was taken down and controlled a lot by Cortavious Romeois. And Cortavious Romeois has a very low grappling fight IQ. He tends to be a very much submission over position fighter. With Quang Lee in grappling positions, he's more than happy to control from top position rather than chasing a finish and hunting for a submission that maybe has a 10% chance of coming through, like a Romeois shooting for an armbar from back position and whatnot, like you saw against Chang Ho Lee. Where I feel is Quang Lee will settle, hold position, and grind out a win if need be. But don't get it twisted. Quang Lee is a finisher, and he's a violent fighter at that. He does have knockout power. I think in the striking department, at least boxing-wise, I feel like he can actually match Bolaños. I don't think he's significantly outstruck on the feet, especially purely with the hands. Now, when you look at the kicking skills, I will favor Bolaños' body kicks. He's got more snap to them. I will say that he is the cleaner kickboxer in a technical aspect, but this is MMA. And with the smaller gloves, there's going to be shots that Quang Lee is able to get through. With his offensive wrestling threat in this matchup on top of, I would say, a pretty capable striking game, I think he can give Gaston Bolaños an extremely difficult fight. I have still strong reservations about the ground skills of Gaston Bolaños. I think he's a very suspect grappler, maybe improving a bit, but how much has he improved? And is Quang Lee not a superior fighter to Cortavious Romeois? I personally believe that he is. You look at his UFC losses, it's Long Shao, who's a pretty tough customer, and he still had some moments in the fight. Watch for that left hook. And Chris Gutierrez, who is a tactical assassin, really. I mean, you see what he did with Castaneda. Wins the first 2 rounds, does enough, and wins fights, man. And Quang Lee did have wrestling success there earlier than Castaneda did. And I don't think Bolaños is to the level of Chris Gutierrez. Regardless of the credentialed striking skills on paper, the reality of what happens in the cage is different, right? You saw Ian Gary, an MMA fighter, an MMA striker, tune up Carlos Prates for the first 3 rounds, who comes from a striking-only background. Just because a fighter has a base of stand-up as a professional does not automatically equal that they're going to outstrike MMA fighters. Gaston Bolaños got destroyed on the feet by Marcus McGee. Now, I won't be delusional and say Quang Lee is near the level of Marcus McGee, but I do feel as though Quang Lee is skillful enough to take out a guy like Gaston Bolaños. Both of these guys, not super experienced as pros, 8-4 for Bolaños, 8-2 for Lee. Both guys in their 30s. I don't think either one is anywhere near a future contender, but I do feel as though Quang Lee can get a hard-fought W over a flawed Bolaños, who I would consider to be one-dimensional. Okay, if Cortavius Romeois approaches fights with a control-based manner, he probably grinds out a win against Bolaños instead of hunting for the finish. I believe Quang Lee, also superior striking game to a Cortavius, can give Bolaños some trouble on the feet, which will allow for a higher rate of takedown availability. I'm going Quang Lee to win in a nail-biting back and forth, 29-28. I do believe there'll be strikes from Bolaños that land clean, but I think Quang Lee will outwork him over 3 hard rounds and take this fight on a judge's decision. I'm going Quang Lee, Savage Dog, sitting at right now plus 119. So I would say plus 120. Depends where you go. It's around the range of plus 119 to plus 120. We got underdog, Savage call, Quang Lee to win against Gaston Bolaños this week, and that's my Savage Dog lock. You guys had a feeling. I saw a lot of people were guessing that I was going to lock up Quang Lee during the live chats. And well, you guys were absolutely right. I do think that he beats the flawed Gaston Bolaños by a unanimous decision. Personally, not crazy about the prop betting side of things here. I like the absolute savagery of a straight money line onslaught. But if you did want to chase a prop, Lee by decision plus 325. But, you're still taking a risk with a prop. What if Lee somehow drops Bolaños and knocks him out? You'll be kicking yourself. What if he somehow got a weird submission? You see what I'm saying? The money line is always the better line. But ultimately, some folks want to chase extra plus money. But I already got you a plus tag. We got Quang Lee, Savage Dog lock. Let's jump to the next section. We're going to talk about my most confident picks on the card. These are the chalky lockies, all right? Throw the lines away. Because some people say, oh, why are you doing the Savage Dog lock every time? Why not just lock Ming Yang Zhang? I'm like, bro, he's minus 500. I'm trying to find you guys money lineable plays for the Savage Dog lock, which is why we go towards the dog. But there are some high confidence, chalky ass favorites on this card. And we're just going to start it off right away with the main event. I think that Corey Sandhagen is very, very likely to win a relatively dominant decision over the former flyweight champ. I think Sandhagen at minus 500 is a bit towards the extremely wide side. I don't necessarily agree with a 5-1 tag for Corey Sandhagen, but I have to look at it like this. Sandhagen, to me, with a physicality advantage, has a high fight IQ. He's also going to be the younger man as well. Dude, every statistic to me favoring towards the side of Sandhagen. Where I think Figueiredo would have a slight advantage would be his pop in the hands. He does got some thud in his punches. He's a dangerous striker. But I feel he's going to have a very hard time hitting Corey Sandhagen. I think Sandhagen has extremely good movement / distance management. His technical striking from long range, I believe, is going to be successful here. I expect Figueiredo to try and engage in some grappling, and I do believe Corey Sandhagen's grappling defensive abilities will shine in this fight. Could potentially even use his size to reverse position and get on top of a Deiveson Figueiredo. Also, don't underestimate the danger of Sandhagen. He does have knockouts. Maybe he's not getting knockouts left and right. The last time he got a KO win, it was the doctor's stoppage back in 2022 against Song Yadong, but he did some legit damage slicing Song up. And there have been knockouts in the past. It's not an impossibility. I was saying something weird like, yo, doctor stoppage, Corey Sandhagen, Figueiredo got a doctor stoppage loss with Brandon Moreno. Maybe his eye shuts again. Bit of a far-fetched result, but it is something that is possible. But yeah, minus 500, extremely wide money line here. You're not going to be throwing down on the money line unless, I don't know, you're throwing thousands down. I don't think the money line is where you're going to look for success. I do believe, though, that in a parlay, Corey Sandhagen could be addition, especially a 3-leg parlay. Let me pop this in. We got parlays at the end. We'll talk about it. Let's jump to the next of the confident picks, and we're just going to move one fight down. I believe Bo Nickal is going to have a quality performance against Reinier de Ridder. I don't buy into the de Ridder by knockout or de Ridder by sub hype. I think Bo Nickal's the better striker and the better wrestler. So having an ability to dictate where this fight takes place is an extremely powerful element of success for Bo Nickal. Renier de Ridder is not this high caliber wrestler. He does have very good Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and I'd consider him a quality grappler, but doesn't have great takedowns. Taking down Kevin Holland equals beating Bo Nickal on the ground? Submitting GM3 equals beating Bo Nickal? I don't think so. Renier de Ridder's striking is pretty clunky. He's not awful, but he's definitely not good. It's not his strong suit. He does like to shoot that single collar a lot and then look for trips from there, but I do think Bo Nickal could rip him with some punch combinations. Now, the official pick I've been feeling is Bo Nickal winning, similar to how he did against Paul Craig, with a tactical striking display and controlling where this fight takes place, frustrating Renier de Ridder on the feet. But Bo Nickal's got to be making some gains in his skill set. And I'm assuming he's looking better and better in the room. And I feel as though it's going to eventually translate. There is a small possibility of Nickal getting a knockout. Now, the odds are not going to be fun for you. It's only plus 185 for the KO. The decision is actually better at plus 225. I feel like the Ritter's chin should be all right, too. It would be more if Nickal hit him with the perfect counter shot, because the Ritter at times puts himself out of position with an over-aggressive clinch game. Now, the over 1.5 is minus 200. I think it's pretty probable, pretty possible, I guess. I don't know. It seems pretty damn likely that this fight goes over a round and a half, which is minus 200. I think Bo Nickal's pulling through. Minus 330. An ability to dictate where the fight takes place is such a powerful element. Also, when you're taking on a guy who's not really known for high caliber striking, I think Bo Nickal looks pretty good and gets a dominant win here. Next up, we got Mason Jones at minus 525. So I know there is some Jeremy Stephens lovers out there, the fucking fans that have been watching him go 3-0 in the BKFC, and I respect you and I see you. We have to be realistic. He fought a 41-year-old Eddie Alvarez, a 46-year-old Bobby Taylor, and Jimmy Rivera, who's a former bantamweight. He's now fighting in the lightweight division against a prospect who's on a 4-fight win streak in Cage Warriors, is a guy who's willing to stand in there and bang, but also does have an efficient game, if need be, taking fights to the mat. Victory over David Onama, which I think holds a lot of weight in this modern era now. Seeing Onama, regardless of how I felt about the fight, Onama is now towards, in the top 15 of featherweight. And then you have his loss, Ludovic Klein and Mike Davis. I think both Ludovic Klein and Mike Davis are hellish matchups for Jeremy Stephens. I'm going to drink a Coke Zero. Dedicate that sip to Jeremy Stephens. Now, he had the underdog win against Eddie Alvarez in Philadelphia. He was the dog there and he came through. But he hasn't fought MMA in a minute, man. Last MMA fight, he got submitted by Natan Schultz back in 2022. Natan Schultz a good grappler, but he did lose that fight still on the ground and got handled. Before that, it was a Miles Price split decision win. And before that, Clay Collard beat him. And he had a bad streak running in the UFC. Like, let's keep it real. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He was 0-5-1 no contest when he left the UFC. Then what? He got a win against Clay Collard, 0-6, or rather a loss to Clay Collard, 0-6-1 no contest. And then 1-6-1 no contest. And then it was 1-7-1 no contest out of his last 9. So he's got 2 wins and 7 losses and 1 no contest out of his last 10 fights. And that last impressive win was at featherweight against Josh Emmett in 2018. Now, I understand he's doing good in bare knuckle, but there's no grappling, there's no kicking. Come on, man. It's a different game. Mason Jones is a surging prospect, and he's going to be able to beat an aging Jeremy Stephens, I think, relatively handily. The thing about Mason Jones is he does have a willingness to brawl, which could make this a firefight and a badass back and forth. I do think the safest route is to wear on Jeremy Stephens, use a little striking, set up some takedowns, and I feel as though he'd have some success dominating them. But I think Mason Jones wants to show out on the feet, and I don't think a KO is crazy. Now, the odds are not great for it. It's only 2-1. I thought they'd be better. But I feel as though Mason Jones is live to knock out Jeremy Stephens in a brawl. I think Jeremy Stephens still has some pop, but he's never been at his peak performance at 155 pounds either, though. He's normally fought his best at 145, showing the real dynamic knockout power. Sure, he's winning at heavier weight classes, bare knuckle, but at 155, he ain't done well in a long time, especially in MMA. A lot of losses in MMA. And I think Mason Jones handles them. And I feel as though Mason Jones is live to knock him out. Yes, minus 525 is wide, but it's a high confidence pick for a reason. Next up, Azamat Bekoev over Ryan Loder. I'm going Russian wrestler with striking over All-American wrestling here. Ryan Loder is a strong American wrestler, and you know what? I respect the grit. All right, I respect the Savage Mode USA in this hoe, but I think it's Russia time. I think Azamat Bekoev is better on the feet, and a lot of the times when you have two guys that are capable on the ground, turns into, especially when they both have good wrestling bases, turns into a kickboxing match. I don't think Ryan Loder survives a kickboxing match with Azamat Bekoev. Bekoev is pretty tactical on the feet. I'd say he has a developing but improving striking game. He does have some power in his hands, does have a decent high guard on the inside, pretty tight boxing style, can also fight in a sniper stance from the outside. His stand-up game looks pretty smooth, and on the ground, he's solid as well. Ton of MMA fights, way more experience than Ryan Loder. I feel as though this is a W for Bekoev incoming at minus 380. Yes, it's a nasty wide money line tag, but I feel as though Azamat Bekoev is going to end up knocking Ryan Loder out. Knockout odds for him, Bekoev is 2-1 for the KO, which I do think is possible. I feel as though Ryan Loder likes to throw more looping punches, doesn't really have a great straight punch game. Bekoev is a more tactical striker between the two, and if Loder is unsuccessful shooting these takedowns, Bekoev defending, and now we got Loder stuck on the feet, I don't think he's going to respond well to power shots. Now, if Loder's got a real legendary chin, there's a chance that he does survive and eat some big ones and maybe put up a decent account for his striking, but I can't bank on that. Instead, I'll bank on Bekoev being a lot better on the feet, knocking him out, and maybe even taking down the American wrestler as well. That wouldn't shock me if he ended up in top position. The pick is going to be Bekoev. I do think he is live for the finish. It would be pretty gnarly if he ended up locking up a sub. It's plus 475 for sub. I feel knockout more, but you're not nuts for going sub. Bekoev, money line, again, a safer parlay piece. Now, I got honorable mention. One more I'm going to bring up. Let's put it on the screen now. Minus 201, Montel Jackson. I think Montel Jackson's going to give Daniel Marcos his first loss. I don't want to call it a fraud check because Montel Jackson's pretty good, and I don't think Marcos is a fraud. Daniel Marcos is a tactical kickboxer, but he's at a substantial disadvantage, man. Daniel Marcos has, a 69, 68-inch reach, whereas Montel Jackson with a 75.5-inch reach. It's also 5'6" to 5'9". Montel Jackson also a southpaw. Even though I feel as though Marcos has a good kicking game, him attempting to use calf kicks is kind of negated here with the ability of a southpaw being, kind of hard to whip calf kicks out. Like, what's he going to do? Lead leg calf kicks? That's not nearly as effective. And if he is throwing naked kicks to the calf with the lead leg, even though Marcos will be in a kicking range with Jackson's long reach, there is going to be an availability to a straight left down the line from Montel. He could actually knock Daniel Marcos out in this fight here. I don't think Montel is outgunned in any area. I think striking-wise, he's in the fight. He's a pretty fast-twitch striker with power, but I also think don't be shocked if you see Montel Jackson engage in the clinch, wear on Marcos a bit, embrace the grind a little bit, and, pull off kind of a nitty-gritty, pressure-based decision. I think he's got the hand speed to strike with him and the southpaw stance, which should keep him safe from the calf kicks. Daniel Marcos also not a big knockout artist. He's got one finish in the UFC, has won a lot of decisions. Nail-biter fights against Adrian Yanez and Davey Grant. Both guys, tough customers. I like both of them. I've locked Davey Grant in the past as an underdog. He's definitely a badass. But Daniel Marcos, a lot of people felt also lost that fight. But that's irrelevant, right? Because he did score the decision regardless of the thoughts and feelings. Daniel Marcos is skillful on the feet. But I have question marks around his overall game. And being at a size, reach, and wrestling disadvantage against a guy that can also box and also a southpaw, I don't like his chances. So Montel Jackson as a 2-1 favorite is going to be the 5th addition to the most confident picks on this UFC Des Moines, Iowa card. Those are my most confident picks. Now, I locked a Savage underdog. Outside of that, there really is not a favorite underdog that I'm going to add in. Even money with D-Rod and Ponzinibbio. I think that's a nail-biter, coin flip type of fight. And personally, not crazy about betting down the D-Rod side. I said I feel like he can get a split decision. So I do want to jump right into the Degen Props of the night. And because the favorite underdog section is limited and we're just doing the Savage Dog Lock this week, instead, I wanted to bring some thunder with, you know, some of these badass Degen props. Now, Azamat Bekoev, if it is a striking fight like I'm feeling it might be, Bekoev by second round knockout is a Degen call that I don't mind at all. Plus 850 range for Bekoev by second round KO as an absolute Degen take. Now, this next one is actually not a pick. My pick is Ivana Petrović in the first fight of the night, but Juliana Miller has a chance to lock up an armbar. Miller by sub is up at plus 750, and she does have legit jiu-jitsu. I have to just give her a quick shout because you know what? At plus 750, if you're looking to close your eyes and Degen bet something for a ladies fight, that is a good Degen call. But ultimately, I think that Petrović is tactical and outworks her over 3 rounds. Now, next up, ladies going after it again. It's Rodriguez and Robertson. I think Jillian Robertson's live to win kind of a nitty-gritty decision. The odds for it, are they worthwhile? No, it's plus 105. No, plus 115 I'm seeing. Not really great. Not really great. A lot of times with some of these Degen props, I like to just choose the prop before I chase a line. But if it's real plus money, then it's a little different. But I try to see, you know, an actual high probability of success for it. But odds wise, that's not going to get me jumping. That's not getting me jumping at all. Now, the next one I like a lot, over 2.5, potentially parlayed up in the Miesha Tate fight around minus 365 for that over 2.5. I think Tate's probably winning a decision, embracing the grind. And if Santos wins, I don't think she's knocking Tate out. I think she can get 2 rounds to 1. So that over there seems very likely at minus 365. I like it as a parlay piece. And I'd be remiss if I don't mention Tate by decision at plus 130 to list off, you know, a few of the badass savage calls. A few of the badass savage calls for the people that I felt like listing off. I think we got some good fights on this card. Definitely some props to be made. You guys know, Friday, I tend to bring more thunder with the spreads and the prop talk. So make sure you tune into the weigh-in recap show, and I'm sure I'll have more for you guys. But today, this is what I'm feeling on Wednesday. I do want to jump to everybody's favorite section. It's my favorite. It's your favorite. It's all our favorites. Let's talk the parlays to play. I know what you're thinking. Jones and Bekoev, that sucks. It's minus 2.8. I know it sucks. I put safe but boring. I'm not going to put sucks because I'm pretty damn confident that it hits. But yeah, minus 208 sucks. That's not fun for a parlay. That's not what people want to play for parlays, especially some of you Degen parlay attackers. So let's keep moving down. Safe, kind of boring, Sandhagen and Nickal. I think the main and co-main event are kind of locks, and I'm feeling pretty good about them winning. Live 3 would be Nickal, Jones, and Bekoev. This is also the alternate call that I was going to list off at minus 107. I do not think that is a terrible idea at all. Now, obviously, I still think there's value in doing Nickal with Sandhagen and Bekoev as well, but this was a little alternate call I want to add in. Down the line, the confident call, Sandhagen, Nickal, Jones, and Bekoev, plus 133 seems pretty live. Confident plus 1, Sandhagen, Nickal, Jones, Bekoev, and Jackson, plus 251. If you add Montel to your slate, you're jumping the money up by about, almost 120, a little 118. Dog in confidence, Lee with Sandhagen and Nickal at plus 254 has a great chance of coming through. If you just want to go doggy, Lee, Sandhagen, Nickal, and Bekoev, you got more than 3-1 money there for the doggy play at plus 344, which seems pretty damn good as well, man. I mean, if Quang Lee looks solid early and we pull through with him, I think we're in for an extremely successful night with some of these more high-level plus money attacks. Now, Nickal with Jones, Tate over 2.5, and Lee. I feel like this is an interesting parlay at plus 346. Obviously not the great plus money that I like to see from these interesting parlays, but does overall seem like a pretty likely outcome. Now, a savage play is going to be Lee, Sandhagen, Nickal, Jones, Bekoev, and Jackson. So we're going confident picks. We're going underdog attack, plus 690. Not as fun as it is some other weeks, but that's because there's a lot of chalky-ass confident calls. Now, to go savage prop mode on you, Lee, Sandhagen, Nickal, and Bekoev by KO. My God, he better win by knockout. Plus 1264 for a savage prop. Now, if you want a Degen round prop, you got Sandhagen, Nickal, and Bekoev KO round 2 at plus 1632. And if you want to go even to the next level of savage, I'm going to call it the Degen savage play. Lee, Sandhagen, Nickal, and Bekoev round 2 plus 3,797. For whatever reason, I've been feeling like Bekoev's second round knockout spoke to me. Obviously, it's a Degen prop of the night, but it's a possibility. And for the big plus money I know some of you guys are looking for, I felt as though why not include it on a card that has a lot of really chalky lines? Because that's the truth. There are a lot of wide favorites on this damn card, and a lot of them are very confident calls. And I feel as though myself and a lot of people are like, yo, some of these closer money ones outside of Lee, am I crazy about going Miesha Tate at minus 135? Yeah, sure, she could wrestle, fucking win, but she's also 38. She also hasn't fought in over a year. There's red flags. Surrey City and Cameron Smotherman, prospect fight. See what I'm saying? Now, I did want to include one more. It was Sandhagen, Nickal, and Bekoev that I wanted to just do live. Sandhagen, Nickal, and Bekoev on your slate brings you to minus 103. You see where the live three is? All right. We also got the other live three. I'll call it the big three. Sandhagen, Nickal, and Bekoev at minus 103 seems to have a damn good chance of coming through as well. Now, I'm excited for this week. I feel real good about the safer plays. I feel pretty damn good about the more savage plays. Obviously, the prop plays, we're kind of playing with fire here, but let's hope for some savagery and post weigh-ins. Maybe I'll try to cook up something else. Maybe Miesha Tate looks good and I'm feeling something on her. We'll add her to a lineup and we can chase some big plus money for a little post weigh-in parlay action. So we'll find out those on Friday, but this is what I'm feeling of some templates right now. Don't blindly tail. Do your own research before laying bets down. I don't recommend blindly tailing, especially if you're throwing some serious capital down. I recommend you do your research and see where we line up on our mentality for the parlays that I'm listing off right here. I love you guys. That's what I want you to know. I feel very locked in. I think you guys can hear it in my voice. I feel like super locked in this video. And I feel like we got a badass this week's Best MMA Bet show for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about Quang Lee. You think Quang Lee is the savage dog lock? Or are you, I don't know, a Bolaños fan? Are you going Team Bolaños diehard? Low key. Let me know in the comments. I want to hear. If you got another savage dog lock that you're feeling, let me know down in the comments below because I want to hear from the people. I love you, savages. Smash the damn like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on. And also, don't keep them on personalized. Put them on all because you don't want to miss a video. You don't want to miss a live stream. I'm doing content every single day, multiple times a day. So keep it locked in on the channel. I love each and every one of you savages. Also, I got my brother covering PFL on the channel now. So check out the recent PFL predictions as well. And thank you. Big W to the chat. Let me know in the comments. Also, favorite parlay. I need to hear the favorite parlay. I meant to say that earlier. Give us the favorite parlay. Favorite Degen and favorite safe. I want to see what my community's doing. Love you guys. Thank you all for watching. Nothing to say in the comments. W in the chat to boost the algorithm for your boy. That will suffice. And I'll see you all in the next one. Much love and peace out.